Jiu-Jitsu fans, it's Alex. What a weekend we had. I was just in Vegas this past weekend. I'm currently in LA, still processing all the action that we saw. This is the first time I ever went to any jiu-jitsu event of that magnitude, and Mo did it up. It was awesome. We are going to dive into the 8 people that punched their tickets to the ADCC World Championships. And honestly, well done to everyone that even competed. It was a stacked division across all divisions, but especially the 77, especially 88, and then the woman, of course, put on a show as well. So from top to bottom, minus 55 kg, we had Jasmine Rocha of, the Wagner Rocha martial arts community. She got it done, and she really put on a show, defeating Alex Enriquez. I feel like it's always, the top 2 to 3 girls in that division. You hear Alex Enriquez, Jasmine Rocha, Amanda Bruze, and they all, were in the top of that. They were the favorites going in. People thought it was going to be Alex Enriquez versus Jasmine Rocha, and it ended up being just that. But Jasmine, she had an awesome triangle choke day one. I can't show you too many highlights because when I show highlights, sometimes I get demonetized. So I can't show you that, but I do have some random footage that I captured on site. So they can't do anything about that. They can't take away the footage that I got myself. What's up? If you're in the group chat, don't forget to say what's up. I don't have a producer with me today, so sorry if today's a little off the cuff, just talking with some people that like combat sports. But Josiah, I can always count on you for being here. Welcome to this live chat. We're talking all jiu-jitsu news, and we're coming off of a big weekend with trials that just happened. So thank you for joining. And now let's take a look at some of the content that I have from Jasmine Rocha. Let's see. It's starting to sink into mood of the show. The rest of it is just her ending up finishing the show. But what got her to this point, it was kind of sad to see Alex get sold by Jasmine. She's going to talk shit. Jasmine Rocha knows how to play the villain. She knows how to get people to dislike her. But from what I've felt from her energy in person and talking to her a little bit, because we were trying to coordinate an interview, she is a very likable human being. But we need a little bit of animosity in this sport, and she brings that. She will call whoever out. She will, have her comments about what she said to Theon, trying to get in her head. So that's the exact personality that we especially need for women's jiu-jitsu. Because I think a lot of girls that come into jiu-jitsu, for the most part, are all about that respect, not about the trash talk. Okay, so this was a good point that MacTube brought up. He's saying that she actually kicked Alex in the face before that and was not called on it. So in her other match against Ali Wolski from B Team, she also used the Spartan kick to make space and give her room for the heel hook finish. So the kick that she's doing is actually something that Wagner taught her, and it's part of her game. So I'm not sure that it's something that's going to be called, at that level. But she did indeed admit that she kicked Alex to get to the position that she needed. And she also did that in her match against Ali Wolski to make room for that heel hook. What's up, Egghead? Egghead's here to talk about some PGF in the house. And we had some PGF fighters compete at ADCC. So obviously, their main focus is ADCC Trials, and everyone put their heart out. We even had a PGF matchup with Max Hansen and Andy Varela. Andy got it done. He was obviously so bummed that, even if he gets a submission, it's just for third place. He wanted to punch his ticket to ADCC. So everyone and their mom is being like, invite Andy. If you're not screaming, invite Andy Varela. You're screaming, invite J-Rod. I think that's the majority of what people have been saying. But let me know who you guys think should be invited in both of those divisions. All right, so we already talked about minus 50, under 55 kg, Jasmine Rocha getting it done. She did not have an easy mission or journey to get there. She had to beat Tammy Musumeci, who's a world champion herself. And then she, again, submitted Alex Enriquez to win trials. And I think that's really puts a stamp on it, getting the submission, because at 99 kg, we didn't have a finish. At under 99 kg, we didn't have a finish, unless I'm forgetting. At minus 88, we didn't have a finish. Andrew Tackett won by points. Helena Crevar minus 65, we didn't have a finish. So Jasmine getting the finish, I think, really solidified her spot. She even said when she went to the Brazilian trials, she's like, the girls in Brazil aren't as tough as the girls in America. And she was so set on winning at Brazil. She came so close, and then she lost to A-Rod. So now when we're looking at the people that are making up this minus 55 division, you have Maisa Bastos, who was invited by Mo. Mackenzie Dern also announced on ADCC official that she is invited, and A-Rod winning Brazilian trials. And so since this is like a new division, we don't have people coming back. So there's a lot of questions that need to be answered, but we only have about 30 minutes for this live chat. So we're going to go into our next division, which is under 65 kg. Helena Crevar becomes the youngest athlete to ever win an ADCC trials. That's huge. That's huge, boy or girl, I think. So she becomes the youngest ADCC trials winner. Don't quote me if it's boy and girl, but I'm pretty sure it's just in general, like she is the youngest to ever have won ADCC trials. We might have to look up some birth certificate on the exact dates, but Helena Crevar gets it done. This was a rematch with Mo Black, who defeated her. And she looked good. Like her wrestling looked much better than it did before. She was able to get points, and once she was ahead, maintain the position that she had. But then also, in these wrestling exchanges, hanging heavy on that front headlock, able to get her down and into the mouth. And had there been more time, who knows who would have got this. Can you guys hear me when I'm talking and the video is playing? Because I just want to be sure. I was rooting for 10 Planet guys. They did well, but no medal. Hopefully they get invitees. I know Kyle Bohm got a medal, but not a gold medal. And I know he was pretty bummed about some of the calls that were made in his event. But yeah, what I just showed you guys, Helena Crevar getting it done. I think, with that mounted position and that front headlock, who knows where she could have gone from there. But she put on a dominant win, and also represented New Wave Jiu-Jitsu, who had a great showing at ADCC. So that is minus 65 kg. And up next, we have Elizabeth Mitrovic. I'm going to show you guys a clip that I have with her, because she is such a gem. Like, she is so likable. When I was watching her walk out, it was to 5-finger death punch. Jacqueline Hyde, Zoltan Bathory in the stands, and Zoltan is a PGF investor. He's basically the reason why we have $100,000 on the line come March 20th. And he is, a big believer in the sport of jiu-jitsu and wanting to see it grow. So it was so funny when I interviewed her after her big win that came after an injury from Amanda Leve. She explained to me that her mindset with using the Jacqueline Hyde song. So let me pull that up.
That competitor aspect.
I chose 5-finger death punch Jekyll and Hyde because I really feel like it emulates me as a competitor. There's two sides of me. There's the competitor, and then there's the person that is interacting on the day-to-day. There truly is a demon inside me that I just want to let out, and I get that opportunity through doing martial arts and competing.
A great song, 5-finger death punch. I mean, did you know that Zoltan Bathory was also going to be in the stands watching?
I didn't know. Oh my gosh. I was so excited to meet him after this. Like, oh my gosh.
What was that experience like?
So he was like, once I heard you that song come on, he's like, I knew you'd be the champion.
I love that.
She's adorable. So yeah, so likable. And like I said, she is one way off the mats, and then as soon as she gets on the mat, she is focused and ready to go. She got tossed in the very beginning Amanda Leve gets a wonderful takedown, no points scored because it's the regulation. And then in overtime, they were really scrapping hard for points. Amanda Leve ends up going for a takedown, and it didn't even seem like anything super significant happened, but you could hear from Amanda Leve that there was some type of injury. And then you can see in her motion, she's like backing away. I even uploaded a clip of it on my YouTube shorts. So you can see the injury happen in real time. It sucks to watch that happen. I'm just like, I'm not good with injuries, and I've injured both of my knees now. So when I see it happen to other people, I'm like, oh my gosh, I am praying for you, Amanda. But that does not take away from the hard work that Elizabeth Mitrovic put in to get the win. She is also a no-gi world champion and a Pan and European champ as well. So she is absolutely killing it. Earned her ticket to ADCC 2024, and that 65 kg division will be very fun to watch. So now we go to the men's side of things. We'll start with the small guys at first. Minus 66 kilograms, Deandre Corbe. I think a lot of people thought Keith Corbe was going to take this one, especially after such a great win at Polaris. Granted, it wasn't against someone who it wasn't against his initial opponent. It was against someone who took it on short notice, and it was kind of an easier matchup, but still riding momentum nonetheless. And it was Deandre Corbe versus Keith Corbe in the finals. But there were some other matches that I thought were very entertaining in this division. One of them was from Barrett Yoshida getting an anaconda choke. Damian Anderson had a beautiful knee bar. He advanced, I think, to almost to the semifinals. He ended up losing by points because he let his back get taken within like the last minute of a match, which is such a bummer because it's fun to watch him compete. Like, he's a really interesting wrestler, and he keeps things moving, he's not boring. Another invite that we have for this division is Ethan Krellinston. So he's officially been invited to ADCC. So now we have Deandre Corbe representing Standard Jiu-Jitsu, and he did not get the submission in the finals. Yeah, he didn't. But there was a little bit of controversy when it came to the points that went down. Keith got deducted for a point in the beginning. People in the crowd were kind of like, what's going on with this and that? So yeah, but he got the win, and you can expect to see him at the 2024 ADCC Championships. And then finally, the most stacked division, minus 77 kg, Andrew Tackett getting it done. I might have the bad word. All right, so Andrew Tackett getting it done at minus 77, or is he? And then William Tackett at 88. But this is the first time that the two brothers have won trials. Kind of surprising. Like, you would think that maybe the Rotolos have done it in the past, but on Flow Grappling's post show, they said that this is the first time that two brothers have won trials. And when we're looking at the minus 77 bracket, let's look at the action here. And such a great moment of celebration. Oops, sorry guys, I haven't been keeping up with the group chat. Do we know why Grace Gundrum didn't try out? I thought she would be there since there's more weight classes. That is a great question. Everyone could use some Grace Gundrum in their jiu-jitsu feed. She is so fun to watch. I just don't think she's not competing at all anymore. I haven't heard from her in a long time. So I just think she's completely out of the circuit. I don't think she said like, oh, I'm not going to do this ADCC. I think she just hasn't been active. But yeah, she is definitely someone that we need back in action because she is so fun. And you were really impressed by Kyle Chambers? Heck yeah, that was a big win against Majid. Getting the leg lock submission. And then I think when he moved on after Majid, he ended up losing and then not making it to the semifinals. But man, that division is very, very tough. So kudos to him for being able to get it done. Didn't Grace start some professional school like med school? That could be it. That could take away your time from competing. and even training, but I'm sure she's still training. But yeah, I just know that like once she kind of stopped competing, it just, no one really ever heard from her again. I've heard different things, like if maybe people online just like being constantly negative energy, and that kind of takes away the fun of competing. I've like interviewed Tammy Musumeci, who doesn't have any social media because she just says it's such negative energy that is draining, and like why would you want to be a part of that? So maybe, you know, that type of mindset extended to Grace, or maybe she just doesn't like competing anymore. But anyway, she would be amazing to have on that circuit. I mean, I would love to watch Danielle Kelly compete as well, but I know that even minus 55 kg is a little bit big for her as well. But you know, jiu-jitsu, small people can beat bigger people. Didn't we learn that with Mike Perez in the plus 99 division? That's the essence of jiu-jitsu. That's why we're here, people. But yeah, good call out about Grace not being there, because she would be so entertaining to watch. All right, and then the minus 88 kilogram division, William Tackett, first time two brothers that won trials, and then sitting at the 2022 third place was Ty Rotolo, so he'll automatically be back. And William Tackett representing, I'm blanking on the gym's name right now, Fight Factory over there in Austin, Texas. The Tackett brothers, they're just gonna be hard to stop. I definitely think that there could be a little bit more marketing around them. Like you see B Team always getting their stuff out, but you know, maybe their, you know, mantra is just show up on the mats and let the other people do the talking for you. Whereas B Team's signature now is second place. They went, you know, 3 for 3 on the second places. And that starts with, I guess, before we get to the plus 99 division where Vince Pizzuto and Michael Perez, Vince Pizzuto and Michael Perez were competing. I thought Vince was doing so good in his match before where he got that knee bar, though. I thought that was highlight of the weekend, honestly. I think I'm a sucker for knee bars in general, but that knee bar in that instance, I think was absolutely insane. Just such a sneaky way to get it too. But before we get there, minus 99 kg, Michael Pixley. What do y'all think about this guy? His wrestling, man, it's going to be tough to stop him. ADCC rule set. His first 4 matches were under 106 seconds total. So didn't get the finish in his last in the finals, but he did get 4 finishes in his first 4. He had a lot of slide by foot sweeps. He did a lot of different things from front headlocks. He got a Peruvian necktie. Very interesting, very fun style to watch, especially in the ADCC rule set and representing pedigo submission fighting. So now PSF has 1 winner from the East Coast Trials. They have Dante Leon, Michael Pixley, and Jacob Couch, if I'm not mistaken, headed to ADCC 2024. So that's all very exciting stuff there. You know, you go from training in a laundromat in Mount Vernon, Illinois, to becoming an ADCC Trials winner. I've been hip to this guy for a while now because of the features that they were doing on Flow Grappling, and he is the real thing. So that should definitely be an interesting one. And I come to think of it, didn't they say that Craig Jones had to make his decision on whether or not he was going to be competing in ADCC this year? They said, I know Mo was on the live chat and he mentioned that like Craig has to decide sometime soon. So I wonder if there's been any news with that, because we all need to know if Craig Jones is going to be there or if he's just going to keep making funny videos. And finally, last but certainly not least, over 99 kg heavyweight division, the man who is not even a heavyweight wins it all.
99 plus, I think I can safely say that I made history today, so I'm really happy about that.
What even makes you want to take a challenge like that? Like, why not just do one that's closer to your weight division?
Well, I'm a natural big brother, and all my friends and all like the guys I've been training, students do the lighter divisions, and I want them to have their moment like I've had my moment. So I take on the bigger guys to not only give them a chance at their dreams, but to also show that jiu-jitsu works against bigger guys when I have 100 pounds against me. So 2 birds, 1 stone.
Hell yeah. Showing them all what jiu-jitsu's all about. And that was a fun matchup. Didn't get the finish that we wanted. I think the round kind of ended with Vince in a little bit of a front headlock position. A submission attempt was being had. So then it was a referee's decision towards Mike Perez. But even though we didn't get the finish in the final, he did have some submissions on the way to getting there. He got a ankle lock against Brandon Reed, wrestling champ. And Brandon Reed, I also got an interview with. He is the sweetest human being ever. I cannot wait to just like study his style because he's, 1, very fun to watch, and 2, very technical when it comes to all of the wrestling tactics that he can do. He says that of course he needs to, work on his leg lock entanglement games, but he's only a purple belt, and this is the first time that he's ever placed at ADCC. So ADCC Trials. So kudos to him. Kudos to all the people that I saw at the event. I didn't think I was going to see as many people as I know, which I don't know why I didn't think that, because it's an event with jiu-jitsu people and I know a lot of jiu-jitsu people, but I saw BMAC, Brandon McCatherine, the commissioner of PGF, ran into Zoltan and Heather, Grace Gracie. So it was so fun to see everyone there, especially because we'll be back in Vegas soon for PGF coming up. And PGF recently posted their UFC countdown. So that was on UFC Fight Pass. The PGF official countdown featured Andy Varela. Gordon Ryan was there. I did see him. I could have asked for an interview, but I didn't even have a media pass. So I was kind of like, let me not push my limits. But I totally should have asked. I saw Nikki Ryan too. I was like, Nikki, I love you. I didn't actually say that, but I wanted to. But they're like, all focused on their, they either coaching or they're getting ready for their own competition. So I'm just like, I'm a fly on the wall. I'm observing. But yeah, next time I see people and I have my camera and microphone ready, I'm going to ask for the interview. But I'm happy with the ones that I got. Sometimes you don't want to like push it too much or like, weasel your way in all the time. Sometimes things just have to happen naturally. But anyway, PGF. So the official PGF countdown took place yesterday, ran on UFC Fight Pass. And it basically gives you guys the storylines that you're going to want to know before the draft. So some of the people that we saw at ADCC Trials, Max Hansen, John Combs, who else was there? Andy Varela, Kieran Kachuk. Those are all people that are going to be competing at PGF as well. And so in other news, I know there's been no official adjustments to the brackets or anything because we haven't heard of any injuries or any replacements or anything like that. But we do know that it is a stacked card, and the draft is going to create a lot of animosities between some of these fighters. Maybe not legitimate animosity, but, animosity nonetheless. Yes, thank you. 2 that I'm missing. Jet Thompson and Ben Eddy were there, and Dane Leak, our alternate. So those are some of the names that you need to know. AJ Agazarm was also there. He cut 30 pounds to make minus 66. So this man is very dedicated. I'm sure he's happy to compete at PGF at a welterweight weight instead of at, under 66. So he's definitely going to be fun. He was in the PGF countdown, kind of talking about how he's not really a heel. He's just keeping it real with people, getting inside their heads during competition. So he's definitely someone I'm going to have to interview before the draft comes up. And that'll all be happening relatively soon. Like, it's already April. I'm so excited to be making my UFC Fight Pass debut. That was on my vision board. I didn't think it was going to be happening through a jiu-jitsu event. I was like, it's going to be an MMA UFC Fight Pass event. And now we're going to be on UFC Fight Pass competitors are going to be competing on a teams with 4 legendary coaches, and they're going to be duking it out for $100,000. And then the top 8 of those competitors who accumulate the most points across the 5-day period, they're going to be competing 3 times a night, 12 fights total. Whoever accumulates the most amount of points, the top 8 will move on to the playoffs. And the playoffs is where UFC Fight Pass will be streaming. And then there's a $20K prize after that, or for that specifically. But you can catch all of the team action, the draft, the drama, the behind the scenes on the UFC or on the PGF YouTube channel. So be sure to check that out. I would appreciate it so much. If you guys have any questions, let me know, because we have about 4 more minutes inside of this live chat portal that we're all in right now. I appreciate you guys. This weekend was so fun. Is it submission only? Where can you watch it? So the way that the PGF works is it is a point system, but it still is really pushing for submissions. So if you get a submission within the first minute, that's an extra point. If you get a choke or a kill, because if you were like, this just reminded me of another thing. Sorry, my brain's like, Wah! Okay. So if you get a choke, that's called, or a kill, that's the most amount of points. And so I don't want to mess up the points right now. So 6 points for a choke, 3 points for a leg lock or joint lock, and 1 extra point if you get the sub inside a minute. And the reason why I like that rule is because it's also makes the most sense for actual combat. If you get a choke out on the streets, that person is just like going to be knocked out and you can run away. If you get an arm lock or a crazy arm bar like we saw Cologne Sabino do to some guy that was like coming at him, that would be 3 points, because now the guy's still, he's still able to kind of fight back a little bit. So yeah, I like how they're valuing it. And then after the week of competition, we'll be able to see who has the most points. And also I think what's going to be most interesting is what if there's like a team that needs 3 points, but if the player needs 6 points for himself to get ahead so that he can make it to the playoffs, like what if he's just like only thinking about himself and just wants to get to the playoffs versus thinking about the team and goes for like a choke instead. I don't know. I just think there's so many things that can happen, and I think there's so much room for error when it comes to strategy. And even before all the action starts at the draft, I think there's like room for error if these coaches don't prepare on which fighters will be able to capitalize the most and make the most points. So, and you can watch it on PGF YouTube channel, the regular fight week, and then UFC Fight Pass for the playoffs. Matthew, thank you for all your participation. I really appreciate it. Sometimes I used to teach classes in college, and college kids, sometimes they just never participate. So I literally have to like call on people. Let me see. Egghead. I'm going to be meeting Egghead for the first time in Vegas. We've been like working digitally, but now we're going to get to meet in person. So who are you most looking forward to interviewing? Let's see. Probably Kieran Kachuk, because he seems like a funny guy. His personality, the stuff that I've seen on Instagram with him, I think straddling J-Rod. I wish I had a producer here with me to like pull up these things, because they would make it so much more funnier so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But he's like straddling J-Rod with some type of Brokeback Mountain outfit on, keeping jiu-jitsu as gay as possible. That's what we want, We want jiu-jitsu very, very gay all the time. So yeah, probably Kieran. I think I've met AJ Agazarm, and I've interviewed him before a High Rollers event when he was getting ready to face Kevin Crane. Which also, why wasn't Kevin Crane at ADCC Trials? What the heck? So yeah, I'm excited to interview AJ. He was a fun person to talk to when I spoke to him. Who else? I obviously am always so excited to interview PJ, because PJ was one of my very first interviews ever I actually have a funny clip that you guys can probably find on YouTube. When I first started in jiu-jitsu, like I didn't know at all any of the figures. Like I didn't even know the beef between 10th Planet and Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. Like I literally knew nothing. All I knew is that I wanted to know more about the sport so that I could be a better MMA commentator. That was it. And so I go to Las Vegas for the first time. I'm like 21, submission series. And it's the people that end up winning or that are in the finals is Keith Krikorian and Robert Deagle. And then PJ Barch versus Alan Sanchez. And I made 2 hits about them. And I just like show up super overdressed and I do hits. And so basically, long story short, when I interviewed PJ, he tells me his name and I'm like, okay, got it. And then I go to do it. And then I'm like, hey guys, I'm here with I'm here from the head coach of 10th Planet, not South Bay at the time, wherever he was coaching at the time. And I completely blank on his name. And then I look at him, he's like, BJ. It was so funny. He was like one of my first friends in Southern California. And he was the one who actually said, along with him and Lorenzo, they were like, well, if you want to be an MMA commentator, you have to at least be a blue belt. And then I was like, damn. So I guess I got to start going to jiu-jitsu. And they're like, yeah. And then I started going to jiu-jitsu and now here we are. All right. Anyway, I'm rambling. I wonder if Cole, Abate, and Mikey will get an invite. So Mikey has been invited, I think, a few times now. Mo has said on the ADCC live chat, I'm an ADCC live chat nerd. You'll always catch me on there, y'all. And Mo Jasmine spills the best tea on there, and he'll also roast anyone that comes for him. So if you want to get roasted, just go to the ADCC live chat and say something rude about ADCC or Mo or something, and he will bring out an iPad and roast people. I feel like Cole Abate would definitely, well, okay, so what they look at with ADCC invites is, have they won trials? Have they been to ADCC before? How did they do at ADCC? Don't quote me on all that, but I've heard Mo Jasmine say that there's specific criteria that they look for that Ethan Krellinston matched up with, that Nikki Ryan matched up with. Because you hear a lot of people that were like, oh, why is Nikki Ryan getting an invite? Is he just getting an invite because he's Gordon Ryan's brother? Like, no, Nikki has accolades that make him a valuable grappler and someone that deserves the invite. So Mo looks at it from a very non-biased perspective, at least in my opinion. I know a lot of the people on the internet will disagree, but they look at a certain amount of things for that. So yeah, that was a lot of talking. I just did some talking for Combate Global's TikTok as well. Make sure you guys follow them on there. We're on the road to 300K. And then I'm going to keep continuing to make content for PGF because we have a crazy, insane month coming up. I'm going to Vegas soon again, and then I'll be in Miami for Combate Global and then back to Vegas for PGF. If you guys have anything specific that you guys want me to cover, let me know. I take some of it into consideration, and I cannot wait to see you guys in the future. Hopefully I see you at an MMA event or a jiu-jitsu event. If you ever see me, make sure to say hello. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.